Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wait, What? Why? The podcast that ponders the origins of why we do the things that we do. Thank you for taking the time to join us today as we discuss the origins of Santa Claus. I'm Nicole Gallagher.
And I'm Dennis Gallagher.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
How are things going?
How are things going with you?
Lovely. In the midst of December, and I'm very excited. I had an eggnog today. I've been wrapping presents. I've been watched a couple of Christmas movies. I made some hot cocoa bombs for the first time, trying out a couple of recipes because that's what I'm going to be gifting to certain people. I don't want to say who because they might listen to this podcast, and I don't want to give it away.
You're just ratting away your giving your gift up.
And the recipe was all right, but I think I might have a better one. So I'm not, but that's very exciting. I'm in the throes of it. I love it.
Well, you started your day off with an eggnog and wrapping gifts. So yeah, again, fa la la. It's that time of year. Your time of year.
Absolutely.
Good.
Just
Excellent.
waiting for our big snowstorm.
Now, maybe in a couple of days. I heard maybe in a couple of days. It's cold enough. It just hasn't snowed yet, but it's cold enough. There's ice on the pool, right? We have ice on the pool.
Yeah, there's ice everywhere.
There's ice everywhere.
Not snowing.
Yeah. Oh, the dog was playing in the ice again, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so funny.
Yeah, he likes to stomp on it and break off the pieces
Breaking
and
ice
eat them.
is funny.
Yeah.
Breaking ice, especially stomping on it with your feet. Yeah, funny.
Before we get going today, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for listening. This is our... Why do I never remember how many episodes we've done? This is our 8th full...
Well, because we have mini episodes and everything
Yes.
else. It's not like they're all, number this, number that.
I think this is our 8th full episode.
If we get through it.
Not a bonus episode, not a mini-sode. And we've had, our first release was, I think, the first week of September. And since then, we've had over 1,700 downloads, which is very exciting.
You still feel like a rookie.
We are rookies.
We are rookies.
But
1,700 is pretty big.
1,700 is big for us. And I want to just thank everyone for, sticking with us and liking what we do. I want to give a shout out to Stacy for reaching out and giving me some feedback on some of the episodes we've done.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah, we would love to hear from more of you about what you like, even
Cool
what
to-
you
just
don't,
cool to
or what you'd
interact
like
with
to
you.
hear
Yeah.
more about.
Yeah.
We'd love to interact with you.
Yep.
And if you could also, really help our podcast to grow by liking, following, subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen, that would really help us too. And I also wanted to say that, shocking to me, about a third of our downloads are from the UK.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
No.
I mean, it's our Scotch-Irish heritage. That it makes no sense at all.
I have no idea.
Oh, maybe it does, but I have no idea.
It makes me a little...
Our voices are on the other side of the pond and fairly popular.
I'm excited about it, but most of our origins are from that half of the world, and I really hope that I'm doing it
we
justice.
talk about it a lot, right? Yeah, we do. We're descendants thereof. Yeah, exactly.
So if you are listening and you're from the UK, please let us know if we blunder any of the origins.
Yeah, how bad are we doing on our history? Are we tainted? Are we off? Exactly.
Or you can shoot us, some accolades too. I wouldn't mind that. But
cool.
Anyway, you can find us. We're everywhere. Please interact with us. Let us know your traditions, things that you like, and things that you don't, things you'd like to hear more about. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Wait What Why Pod. So please reach out to us, and you can always email us at waitwhatwhypod@gmail.com too. So thank you again to everybody. I'm very excited about all of our listening audience. So you made my Christmas.
I think that the Brits probably think we're a silly couple from yanked from New England kind of deal, and they think we sound funny.
I have to say, listening back, I was just
because we do.
I was just telling Den right before we started airing that I really need to work on pronouncing my G's and my ing. Like my Thanksgiving episode, I re-listened to, and I was like, I keep saying Thanksgiving. There's no G. There should be a G in that. It should be Thanksgiving.
Your language should have become more adult at some point with some of those words, and it's stuck in time.
I'm working on it. I'm very self-conscious about it right now.
You teach 7th grade, too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, so what am I teaching them?
Well, that's true. That's true. You're perpetuating
You're calling
it.
me
Yeah,
out now.
You're right. That's right.
Oh,
My bad. Till then, we podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
And hopefully have more listeners.
Hopefully have more listeners.
All right. So,
What are we
Santa,
talking about today?
well, you know what? First, I wanted to ask about your Christmas traditions.
Okay.
Oh, even before we do that, sorry, I'll give you a second to think. I also, if you haven't listened to our last episode, or you did listen to our last episode, but you haven't checked out our social media posts, we did end up getting a real Christmas tree.
We did.
And it's perfect and it's beautiful. And I'm very excited about that. So.
And my jacket is like 3 sizes too big. I'm in much better shape than I look in that picture. I was like, oh my God, it's an old jacket. Yeah. I was all bundled up. I'm like, this is the picture yet? And it was the only picture we took.
Yes.
You're not that I'm insecure at all.
You're much more slender than you look in that
much better
picture.
Shape. Much better shape.
All right. So Christmas traditions. What do you have? I have some good ones that occurred to me, but I want to hear yours. I
hate to say it, but I feel like I'm going to end up on the boring end of things. We were pretty traditional. Definitely family kind of kept to themselves, the weekend before, similar to what we do, we get together with the extended family and whatnot. Christmas tree. We went and saw, Santa Claus when we were little and got our pictures taken just like everybody else did. I don't remember any real special traditions. I don't really remember that either. We were never mall people. It would have been Zayre's or, Kmart or some other independent, some other store. It wasn't the mall. The mall was in Rhode Island, and that was like another continent when I was a kid. We didn't cross that border. That was a long ways over there. We tended to go north towards Foxborough and Sharon, that kind of thing, Mansfield. But no special traditions I can think of. Big meal and family and friends. Yourself?
Did you and your brothers and sister ever search for Christmas gifts?
I remember searching. Yep, I remember searching for Christmas gifts, and sometimes I'd find them. And then of course there was that one time where I searched for them and found them and got bagged. My father bagged me, and that was it. I became the designated rapper from then there on. I was sworn not to, share the truth with my brothers, and I had to wrap the gifts from then there on, which I did. I rapped. They made me the rapper.
How old were you? Do you remember?
Probably 11, somewhere around there, 10. Somewhere in that area, I would guess. Because my brothers were obviously two years and 2 years respectively, behind me, both of them. So, I was sworn to secrecy, and I was the designated rapper.
Well, in my family...
That's my big tradition.
Yeah, and you also have our kids doing your rapping now, too.
Well, I pay them.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Spoiled. No one pays me to rap everybody's
I love my
gifts.
kids so much. Cameron, Megan,
I
Hannah.
rap everybody's, though.
I'm going to Venmo all you guys. I'm going to Venmo you as soon as we're done with this.
And that's why I need Remnogs. Anyway.
I'm just kidding, JK.
So in my family... my mom was always very festive every holiday, similar to me. I guess that's where I get it from.
The apple in the tree.
She had, I don't know why I forgot about this, but I was walking the dog and I had this thought and I was like, that is wicked funny. I have to bring that up when we're doing our podcast. But we had, grew up in a ranch. My mom still lives there. And the basement was half finished. We had a half finished basement, which was the den when we first bought it. It was like, the shag carpeting and the 8-track player was down there. And it was the den.
Nice. Disco.
Yeah. And there was a closet under the stairs. Not meaning to quote like Harry Potter, but there was a closet under the stairs. It was a storage closet, and it was the forbidden closet.
Oh.
And the children were not allowed to open the forbidden closet because...
it was loaded with Christmas gifts or birthday gifts or whatever it was.
According to my mother, Uncle Sam died in there.
Oh, no way. She said that?
Yes. And,
Diane!
As a child... we didn't even question her. We were like, oh, okay. Go in the closet under the stairs.
Uncle so-and-so died there. Okay.
Uncle Sam died there.
Uncle Sam, yeah.
Never occurred to me to ask who Uncle Sam was. How come
what
I
his
never
relation
knew
was.
Uncle Sam?
Right.
Maybe
can I see a picture of him?
Somewhere in my, deep down, I knew that it was a lie, but didn't want to question it.
So you guys were easy marks also, right? You were
I don't
easy.
know.
She pulled the wool right over your eyes.
But you did not go into the forbidden closet because Uncle Sam died in there. And that's where she hid all the Christmas gifts.
No kidding. That's great. That's great.
But what a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, it's horrible. That's horrible. That is horrible. Yeah. You know what? She figured out what worked, and it worked.
And Mom is now listening to our podcast, so she was like, didn't want to at first. She was like, "No, I don't want to listen to them. I don't have time for that." But now she listens and she loves it. So here you go. Shout out to you, Mom.
That's right. Shout out.
And your
Uncle
forbidden closet.
Sam, who died in the closet under your stairs. Way to motivate.
You know what? It didn't scar me at
No,
all.
I never knew it.
Funny,
it's not like you're carrying baggage. I know. Yeah. Funny.
That is funny.
That's a great story.
I think I talked about this in the last episode, but we always had fake trees. But one other little tradition we had was my grandparents lived in Albuquerque, and they would send gifts early. And so they'd always be under the tree. And on Christmas Eve, my brother and I were always allowed to open one gift, on Christmas Eve. So that was always very exciting kind of tradition we did, which usually ended up being from my grandparents.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's funny because that's a tradition that you brought into our family because that's what we did with our kids is we adopted that kind of one gift beforehand. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah,
that was a great
it's
idea.
very exciting.
I think you should say Albuquerque again, by the way.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, it was funny the first time.
Why? What'd I say?
Oh, I don't know. It's just funny.
Oh,
you get talking fast sometimes in Albuquerque. Yeah.
Albuquerque.
It was something more popcorny like that. Yeah. Go ahead, motor on.
Sorry about that. All right. So anything else? I'm trying to think.
No, again, I don't really remember, and my parents do not listen to this podcast. Actually, I think my brothers, at least one of my brothers does a little bit. Anyways, they could correct me. They could text me. You guys could text me more. But anyways, I don't have any other no other traditions.
Yeah, I don't think my mother.
I'm married to you now, so things are way different because you're over the top festive, in my opinion.
Love it.
So we have a lot of kind of things that we do now, but I never really did as a kid.
Right.
Yeah. We're not to the point where we talk about the stuff we do right now.
Well, we can.
Oh, we can. No, I like the way that we always had a very laid back, we still do, style with like opening the gifts. Like our kids never tore through their gifts. It just never ever did.
It's like we
wanted them to kind of appreciate each one when they were peanuts and they didn't know any better. And that's just how they kind of kept opening them from then there on. We actually had to kind of usher them along and be like, hey, it's 10 in the morning. We've been up since 6.
People coming over.
There's people coming. You guys are going to open the rest of your gifts? And they're like, okay. Because they kind of use each one. And I always thought that was very cool the way we didn't rush through it.
And now they're a little older. Cam and Meg are 20 and Hannah's 16. And last Christmas, it went into we stopped with our gifts so we could eat food.
Yeah.
We had brunch and then we went back to them. It was like a day-long event, which is... It really is.
It might be getting a little out of
relaxing. No, who cares? I enjoy it.
I agree. I'm just
I love not having to travel. My mom and my stepfather and my little brother usually come up and visit us, and we have Christmas dinner together.
And then we cook a big old meal. Yep.
Gallagher side of the family, our old-fashioned Gallagher family Christmas, stolen from the Griswolds. We try to put that together every year.
Yes, we do.
So,
yes, we do.
All right. So you ready to dig into the origins of Santa Claus?
Sure. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. I thought, again, this
Santa
would,
Claus.
Santa Claus. I really was torn on what to do for this episode, but I ended up looking up a couple of different topics, and this was the one that I found to be the most interesting, so hopefully everyone else does too.
Sure it will be.
All right, so sources for this episode are from History.com, BritannicaEncyclopedia.com, The Week, which is an online magazine, Good Housekeeping magazine. I love those from especially the 60s, 50s era. They have some amazing articles. Explore the Archive and the Virginia Theological Seminary.
That sounds very official.
There might be some religious aspects to this.
Might be.
All right, so... Here we go, diving in.
Okay.
280 AD or CE, there was a monk named St. Nicholas in Patara. I know I'm saying that wrong. Patara.
No one else knows how to say
Patara.
it. Maybe the people in the UK
It's
do.
modern day Turkey.
No?
Yes, maybe.
Oh, it's modern day Turkey. I have no idea.
He was said to be pious and kind and was also known as the protector of children and sailors. When he was young, his wealthy parents died during an epidemic, and Nicholas used his inheritance to help the needy and the poor. He became the Bishop of Myra while still a young man. It is said that once he sailed through a storm in the sea that was calm through his prayers, and this is why he became known as the patron of sailors. And then another story, which I found to be probably the most popular story, although I've never heard it in my life.
About that same monk or a different story?
About St. Nicholas,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saved 3 poor sisters from being sold into slavery or prostitution by their father by giving them a dowry so they could be married instead.
So he's very gregarious.
Gregarious?
Gregarious. Yes. Philanthropic. Benevolent.
Why do I feel like benevolent is a great word? Yes, that is a much better word.
I can shop all through the English language. I'll butcher every bit of it.
So this ended up, I found another story then that I'm going to kind of merge into here that it alluded to the idea that this is the reason behind stockings being part of the Christmas tradition. Because those three sisters hung up their freshly washed stockings by the fireplace to dry, and the legend has it that old Saint Nick dropped a bag of gold down their chimney the night the girls hung this up, and that's where the gold ended up, the gold fell down the chimney into their stocking, and the tradition had stuck. So not only did he save three young girls from being sold into slavery,
he gave them dang gold.
He gave them gold as a dowry and started our Christmas stocking tradition.
Oh, I want gold in my stocking.
That was one story. You're going to get coal.
I like that stock. You say coal? Oh, gold. Gold. Saint Nick. Gold.
Saint Nicholas, patron saint.
That's a great story.
So I liked that story.
I thought you were going to say something about they only had a few socks between them or something crazy. You were like, no, they washed them and hung them up. He just happened to be hanging there when he chucked the gold down the chimney. Yeah. Well, it was intended to be dowry, right? So,
yes. So St. Nicholas died in 343 in Myra and was declared a saint in the 9th century, which was about 500 or so years after his death. He became declared a saint.
Wow, that's great.
And the December 6th became a feast to honor the death of St. Nicholas and traditionally became a day of good luck, especially if you were to be married or to make a big purchase on this day. And I found that to be weird, and I couldn't find
like
that
a lucky day,
else.
a super lucky day. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that was the 6th, you said, though?
Yes, because
December.
that was the day he died.
Okay.
Yep.
That just passed. That was just, yeah.
All right. So over time, the stories became more popular around the world, and many different areas celebrated him in a variety of ways. I'm not going to go through it all because I found this perfect little timeline link that I am attaching in the show notes. You can find it on our website. It really goes through a lot more details. It would take us forever to go through them all.
And these poor folks don't have forever.
No, they don't. So I'm skipping from, 343 to 1700s.
That's fair. Not a lot happened in those, 1,400 years,
there
right?
Was a little bit. It was a lot of artistic renditions and little celebrations of, throughout the world, and how kind of St. Nicholas became well known around the world.
Okay.
So
again,
it's a lot. It was a lot more than I expected.
So you learned a lot more than you're going to be able to share during this episode. Yes. That's fine. You do. Everyone trusts that you're going to bring us to the right parts. Go ahead.
Well, I hope
Mid-late
so.
1700. I have full confidence.
Thank you.
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
That.
She's awesome. Go ahead.
The Dutch are credited with bringing the traditions of Santa Claus to New Amsterdam, which is now New York. In 1773 or 1774, Sinterklaas, I'm probably also not saying that right because it's Dutch for St. Nicholas, but Sinterklaas came to America when a New York newspaper did an article about groups of Dutch families gathering to celebrate Sinterklaas on December 6th. Then in 1804, a man named John Pintard of the New York City Historical Society gave wooden cutouts of St. Nicholas at an annual meeting, further perpetuating the idea of the patron St. Nicholas.
No kidding.
And then 5 years...
I wonder what it looked like. I wonder if it was similar at all to how we picture, Santa Claus now.
I'm going to get into that.
Okay, all right, great. Keep going.
That's a great question.
You got me hooked, right? I'm on the line.
1809... Washington Irving, who is an American author, helped Santa gain popularity through his writings, where he dubbed St. Nicholas as the patron saint of New York in his book titled The History of New York.
So New York's all over the early beginning, beginning of this one. Wow,
with the Dutch coming to New Amsterdam at that time and then being called New York. But I thought that was kind of neat that, that's a pretty, the history of New York. And you're going to talk about St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
That's
definitely interesting.
helped to spread the idea of him.
Oh, no doubt about it. And the population was exploding, at the time, exploding. Oh. So.
As he became more popular, his story evolved. There were some descriptions. So this is getting back to what you said. Like, what did he look like? So some descriptions. One was he was a rascal with a three-cornered hat, a red waistcoat, and yellow stockings, which reminds me of a jester.
Yeah, the three-cornered hat.
Picture that,
absolutely.
Right?
Sure.
Another description was a man with a broad-brimmed hat and a huge pair of Flemish trunk hose.
Which is going to be referring to his boots, right?
No, the trunk hose are like, those like, I want to call them like pantaloons, but I think they're those puffy knicker things.
Okay, I guess I can kind of.
Trunk.
Like the Rhode Island State Police wear?
Kind of.
Okay.
I guess. I just thought of me, myself, and Irene.
Yeah, well, that's
I
what you're thinking of,
automatically
right?
went to a Jim Carrey movie.
Best damn police force in the United States. Whatever the heck he says. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess something like that.
Okay.
But
Got
picture early 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, in 1822, Clement Clark Moore published the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, which we now know as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
And that's a little bit famous.
Yeah, well, just a little bit.
Just a little.
I never knew that it was originally called A Visit from St. Nicholas. I thought it was always called 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I had no idea. That's a fun fact.
But it was from this poem that the idea of Santa Claus became very, very popular. There was an artist, Thomas Nast of Harper's Weekly, which was a New York magazine, and he drew this iconic picture of Santa that we are now more familiar with today. It's also said that the first idea of Santa using reindeer also came from this poem. It was never part of that, his, I don't know, what do you call that?
Legend.
Yeah.
Or
the stories about him
right.
never had anything to do with reindeer until Thomas Nast and Clement Mark. Oh, why?
Yeah, got to be a tongue twister, baby.
It's just that I think it's alliteration. Clement Clark Moore published the poem.
CCM? Good hockey gear, too. I wonder if it's the same Clement Clark Moore. I wonder if he was a hockey guy.
All right. So.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. But Clement Clark Moore, there we go.
Yeah.
Had this poem, which then was picked up by this artist from Harper's Weekly who published this picture and had the idea of the reindeer. And then...
Well, that turned out to be a heck of an idea, didn't it?
It did. And then there were many depictions of Santa Claus, but a lot of them were like he was slender. He wasn't the jolly old elf, even though that's what the poem says. He was kind of slender in a lot of the depictions. And then, of course, Santa Claus, or the description, or the, I guess, iconic figure we now know today as Santa Claus, became super popular in 1931 when Coca-Cola released its campaign showing the jolly, plump old elf as the depiction we have today.
So Coca-Cola knew that it was going to make Santa fat.
Yes.
Right? If Santa drank a ton of Coca-Cola,
sugar.
Right?
I would never say that is
jolly old soul. Yeah.
It is from all the cookies he eats.
That's true.
When he goes down every chimney.
Good call, but the Coca-Cola doesn't help either.
Coca-Cola helped to make him famous.
It sure did.
Or at least
helped Coca-Cola
the vision
also.
of Santa that we have today helped to make him famous.
Yep,
so.
yep. Without question.
Yeah, so I did jump through a lot of history, but that is where we get our modern day Santa image from. And of course, he was part of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade since its inception in 1924, which we talked about in our an earlier episode.
Yeah, we sure did.
What was that called? Mr. Macy Wins. Yeah.
Mr. Macy
and now that
wins.
was our mini-sode.
Oh, mini-sode.
And we talked about that. So Santa was part of that in 1924, which also helped him become more popular. And then, of course, the Miracle on 34th Street.
Great.
1947 movie.
Really
also
like that movie.
helped him become more popular.
Yeah, really like that movie. Yeah, the actor, whoever that was, he was fantastic.
They were great in that movie.
Yeah, they were all great.
And in that movie, I remember he does. Now, I thought The little girl, remember when the little girl sits on his lap and he starts singing to her? I thought that was Swiss, but that's Dutch. She called him Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's Dutch. You're right. Santa Claus.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, 100%.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's
There's
Dutch
your tie-in.
background.
Watch this movie if you haven't seen it, by the way. It's an oldie. Like Nick said, 1947. It's black and white, right? I don't think it's been redone in color. Maybe it has. But it doesn't matter. It could be in purple and white. It's a great, great movie. Very, very good.
The original.
Yeah, the original one. Yep.
You have to watch the original.
1947.
Yes.
Yeah. So the oldie. Real good movie. I'm sure the other ones are good too, but we're fond of that one. That's, again, one of our traditions, one of our to-dos.
Yeah.
And it's in the last couple of days because,
I have a lot. I usually like to watch that one first because it takes place during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I like to kind of open with that, but I feel like it's been a whirlwind.
Been too long. It's been too long. We should watch it.
We should watch it tonight.
Sure.
Along with all the other cues.
You got it.
Cued movies I have on. Why can't I speak words? Movies I have queued up. Thank you.
You got lots of queued up movies.
I'm going to have to do a lot of editing.
Yeah. Well, you're a little tongue-tied. Tongue-tied happens.
It might be the eggnog.
It might. Well, you started the episode off, right, saying that. I had eggnog to begin with. Like, okay. It doesn't really show, but maybe in bits and pieces.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, you're a big girl.
Thank you. All right, ready for some fun facts?
Yeah, hit me with
Or do you have anything else you need to share from this, knowledge that I've given you?
I don't think so. I mean, I kind of knew that your mom had a funny way of motivating people. Now it's been confirmed that she's got a different twist on it. No, I'm just teasing. I'm all set.
We always had to, in my house too, I'll just throw this out. You had to believe. If you ever alluded to not believing.
Is the exact same rule you have.
Yeah.
So again, Diane, thank you. It perpetuates.
And
I'll guarantee our kids are going to be the same exact way.
I have to tell this story because Hannah still tells all her friends that she believes in Santa. Mm-hmm. And her friend texted me on the side last December and was like, hey, just wanted to see if Hannah really still believes that there's a Santa Claus. And I said, we all believe. Why? And that was it. I never heard back.
They didn't text you back at all?
And I just thought that was hysterical.
That's great. You know how many times that text was shown to other kids in that school? This is what Hannah's mother said. Do you think that she's pulling my leg or not?
I don't know how to reply.
Because that's a big maybe,
But yeah.
All right, good. Hit us with some facts, baby.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
1890s, the Salvation Army needed money to pay for meals for the needy, so they asked unemployed men to dress as Santa to solicit donations. So that's been a tradition since the 1890s.
Well, yeah, and still today, right? Obviously, yeah.
And I thought that was great that they used people who didn't have a job to help them to get money to help provide a service for the community. That was very cool.
Absolutely.
This was another fun fact. I found this very interesting. The department store Santa, which has been around forever.
Doesn't exist anymore.
What do you mean?
Oh, you mean to go get your pics taken?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking hanging around. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
Who hangs
Oh, you said that like that. I'm like, you never see
Santa?
him yet. Okay. Well, do they still have department stores?
You know what? I feel like it is a dying thing. But yes, it started, though. It's 112. I don't know. This is probably older than. It started around 1890 in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So another fun fact. A businessman, James Edgar, became the first department store Santa, according to the Smokin' Jacket. Edgar is credited with coming up with the idea of dressing up in a Santa Claus costume as a marketing tool. Children from all over the state dragged their parents to Edgar's small dry goods store in Brockton, Massachusetts.
No kidding. Shout
and
out Brockton.
And it is said from there a tradition was born.
The Fighting City, right?
Yep.
The Fighting City of Brockton.
Another fun fact that Santa was a bachelor until the late 1800s. The first...
What?
A bachelor.
How was he a bachelor?
He was a patron saint. He was busy saving the world.
Oh, wow.
The first mention of a spouse for Santa was in the 1849 short story A Christmas Legend by James Rees. And over the next several years, the idea of Mrs. Claus found its way into several literary publications like the Yale Literary Magazine and Harper's Magazine again. But it wasn't until Catherine Lee Bates' widely circulated 1889 poem, Goody Santa Claus on a Sleigh Ride, that Santa's wife was popularized, and Goody is short for the good wife.
Oh, that's good.
Or Mrs.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always thought of him having a Mrs. Claus. I don't know why. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Like always. And actually,
I
I know exactly why, now that I say that. The animated holiday special that was popular in the 70s.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
He was a young man when he meets her, right? I mean, he's a young man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she was a school teacher.
Yes.
Nobody wants a skitty
That's right.
Santa.
The Burgermeister burger, right? And no toys.
No
toys.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, was that the year without a Santa Claus?
That's what it was. It was the year without a Santa Claus, I believe. You're right. Yeah. But anyways, so that's why I pictured him being young. That's silly. It has no factual. It just shows you how much those things kind of influence you and embed you into your head.
This is just one source that I found. I didn't dig too much into it because it's a fun fact.
So he could have been married younger, whatever.
Yeah.
That just surprised me when you said that he was a bachelor for so long.
He died in 343.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. I get you. They're writing stories about it later.
Yeah.
I'm so silly.
You are.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Well, you should have invited someone else.
Never.
No, thank you.
Actually, maybe.
Whoa.
Well, we've had 2 daughters on. We need to have the 3rd one on. So I'm hoping for when she comes home for Christmas break, we can get a little bonus episode out of her.
Yeah, you guys will love Hannah, I'll tell you what. Holy mackerel.
She's the Grinch of the family, I think.
Well, yeah, I guess I could say that. Everyone loves the Grinch in the end, though.
Yes. Well, she has a big heart.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get to know the Grinch.
Warm up. He's a while to warm up.
It's a little prickly.
We love you.
A little prickly.
All right. So we talked about the reindeer being first depicted from Clement Moore's poem.
Yep.
But Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, first appeared in 1939 when the Montgomery Ward department store asked one of its copywriters to create a Christmas story for kids that the store could distribute as a promotion. And that's where we get the movie featuring the Island of Misfit Toys and Herbie the Elf in 1964. So that was,
again, a great movie, right?
Montgomery Ward department store was a catalyst for that. And that's, again, it's classic.
Department stores figure so prominently in the holidays.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's got something to do with money.
Money,
maybe. Yep. Common thread. We're all suckers.
Yeah. So, going on to our next fun fact.
Sorry, baby. Follow the law.
No, the next, which I don't know, I feel like it's more, but talking about like how many, according to the National Retail Federation's most recent data, consumers spend an average of $967 and change on the holidays. I feel like...
I wish.
I know, right?
I mean, what?
Is that just on gifts? Is that decorations? Is that the whole, like, the baking? Because I feel like it's way more than that.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Right. And I guess it also depends on how big your family is and if you give gifts to friends and coworkers or things like that. But, yeah, I found that to be
fun fact.
A fun fact.
Sure.
Let's see. We talked about this too when we talked about the origins of the Christmas tree in Party Like a Viking with a Yule Log.
Love that episode.
That the holiday decoration just isn't pretty. It's also an ancient symbol of fertility and virility. And the Druids I didn't know. This is why I included this. We talked about this in that episode because they hung them up around their houses to ward off evil spirits, and they used evergreens to promote or just to I don't know, it brings about the essence of rebirth and, life and plentiful crops in the future and good luck and all those things. But I found this little fun fact that the Druids considered it an aphrodisiac. So the next time someone cracks a joke about meeting you under the mistletoe, consider yourself warned. And
there you go.
I'm going to leave us with this fun fact. Mistletoe's name... I found this to be funny. Mistletoe actually, where is it? It's a Germanic word, which stands for dung on a twig.
Dung on a twig. That's poop on a twig. And you kiss underneath it.
Mistletoe actually is a Germanic word for dung on a twig. Because the mistle thrush birds eat the plant's berries, digest the seed, and then help the plant germinate with their droppings.
I get it. It's just not as romantic as it maybe it once was.
Poop on a twig, it grows, it's pretty.
Yeah, great.
And then we hang it up in our house.
We hang it up in our house and kiss underneath it. Hope the poop doesn't fall on us.
Love that.
That's horrible.
I do.
Ugh.
Oh no! I said I was going to leave off with that one, but you and I talked about this, so I want to include this because I did look this up and found a couple of sources that said that this was true. Because I was like, I wonder if this is true, and you were like, I think it is. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So during the World War II, the United States Playing Card Company joined forces with American and British intelligence agencies to create a very special deck of cards. They distributed them as Christmas gifts. But they also helped Allied prisoners of war escape from German POW camps. When wet, the individual cards peeled apart to reveal maps of escape routes.
Shout out to the UK again, right? Shout out to the UK. Had our backs in
British intelligence.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. And really, that's pretty much it.
Oh, well, it's a bunch of stuff. I mean, you had a bunch.
There was a lot. And like I said, if you're interested in really digging into, the patron saint, St. Nicholas, you want to check out our links and look at that timeline that really shows you how, he evolved throughout the world, because obviously it's not just here, or in the Netherlands. It's, Santa Claus, it's everywhere across the world.
Yeah, across the world. And I mean, I certainly learned in this episode, I didn't know how far back it went or that it was a, saint. Or I guess I never really thought that far back on it. But it's pretty amazing the way it just blew up, in a very short time with some of those writings. Really kept it going. And then all of a sudden, boom,
and
off
you
like
say
a rocket
good old
ship.
Saint Nick, but you don't necessarily
really
think of the religious,
saint.
Yeah,
exactly.
Aspect of it.
I hadn't really thought of that. So that's very cool. Nope, this was fun.
As always.
Yeah, as always.
So thank you for taking the time to listen to us today. We really do appreciate it. And again, if you could subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend, it would really help our podcast to grow, and we would absolutely appreciate it. Also, we want to hear from you. So if you have any weird stories, holiday stories or traditions that happen in your family, like a forbidden closet, per se, or any other
a relative died in.
Yeah, or how your parents kept you from finding out where the Christmas presents were hidden.
Or they made you wrap all the gifts.
Anything we want to hear from you. Absolutely. I would love to
match our crazy stuff.
We would love to be able to read some of your stories in a listener episode. So you can always reach out to us at waitwhatwhypod@gmail.com. And as always, thank you so much to Francis for our podcast artwork.
Shout out, Francis.
Yes. Check out our website. Find us on social media. Let us know what you think. We would greatly appreciate it. And until next time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.